The whole obsession with youth, I understand it, because I'm kind of obsessed with youth myself, but it has nothing to do with being gay. It just has to do with I don't like getting old. I don't want to be old.
30s gay death.
Maybe they are thinking, yeah, I'm going to be a troll at 50 anyway, so let's just get a buttload of cum and, and party on down with drugs and booze. Who cares? Our heart's going to give out anyway, you might as well go out with a bang.
We all inherently have this death wish. We're ashamed of who we are. As much as we can come out with this bravado about how openly gay we are and how proud to be gay we are, deep down inside, we have been instilled with this fear and this guilt and this shame about the way we came out. And I think in a lot of cases, the drugs, the unsafe sex, you take risks all the time. I just walking across the street, I can't tell you how many guys don't look both ways. But I think we don't care if we die.
Maybe we don't feel that we deserve anything meaningful. Maybe that's part of the self-hatred.
I think that there's a lot of validity to that, in that if you look at the gay magazines, the gay ads, they're all very young, sexy kids, in their 20s, maybe 30s, and they have gorgeous bodies. And I think that that has always been, whether it's conscious or unconscious, you have this ideal of what, the gay man is supposed to look like. And I think a lot of people have really hard times with that, and I know that I've had challenges with that.
It actually isn't old if you don't pay attention to the opinions of 22-year-olds. It's people who are obsessed with the opinions of 22-year-olds who feel ageism sting most sharply.
'Cause I'm a poet, and you just gave me a poem.
Well, first off, young people ought to care about ageism because they're going to be old someday. I know it's like the most impossible thing to imagine when you're a younger gay man that you're going to be older. Trust me, it will happen if you're lucky. The alternative isn't very good, but it will happen. And you want that to be a good experience. And you want to have a full life. And when you're older, you want to experience a full and happy life as a gay senior as well.
I know that I have been hung up on aging for a long time. Maybe it's having gray hair at an early age that's made me feel older. Maybe it's because I always had older friends or dated older guys and I had to hear them bitch about how they didn't feel as attractive or relevant to a younger gay community. I don't know.
It's hard to find to feel an identity of the gay community because it's so integrated that it's hard to experience the gay community.
And you mentioned something really interesting. You said that you were feeling kind of kicked out of the gay community as you go past 30. And it's funny because if you look at folks that are straight that might be getting past 30, are they really going out to the bars as much anymore? No, because they've got kids now for the most part. They're raising families. They're having cocktail parties at home. So much of our gay life has been centered around these institutions like the bars, and as we age and mature and go through our own individual life changes as human beings, as American citizens, these things that were so gay-centric, they don't really fit us anymore because we've reached a different generation now.
Well, aging comes for us all. I don't know if it needs a take. If it's sitting around waiting for us to have a take on it before it beats the fuck out of us as the years go by. It's not like spring is waiting for us to have an opinion on it before it arrives either. Ageism, I think, gets tossed around too much as a term. I think there's a lot of sort of resentment of the young and resentment of our desire, sort of the desirability of youth. It can instill anger in people who've aged out of that desirability stage of their lives. And that will be called ageism. You know, this sort of like j'accuse pointing at the young and saying, you don't want to fuck me, I'm 50 now, you're ageist. That's not ageism. Ageism is you got fired because you're old. You got, you know, somebody denied you an apartment, discriminated against on the basis of your age. People not wanting to fuck you is not discrimination.
Ageism is as good a subject as any to be concerned with. It hasn't been high on the agenda because we've had AIDS to deal with, and most people didn't live long enough to be considered part of an older population. I'm 74. I guess I qualify for someone who might be experiencing ageism. I haven't. Fortunately, I'm not even sure what you mean by that. Discrimination, services that aren't offered to us, whatever.
This is something we need to address, which is about this moment in the history of gay life. Increasingly, gays and lesbians are integrated into their families and starting families of their own. So gays and lesbians who I think my age and younger are going to have a social network when they're older and elderly that a lot of gay men who are elderly now do not have. Hopefully that is an anomaly, and as you know, future generations of gay people grow up living fully integrated lives that include family lives and possibility of children, there's less isolation, less loneliness. The isolation and loneliness of the generation that's retiring now of gay men, of those survivors, who again are likely to have seen their peer groups decimated by AIDS, that's something that we should be talking about and moving on and trying to address to make sure that senior citizen centers aren't places where gay guys, when they wind up in them, have to go back in the closet, or lesbians have to go back in the closet. And make sure that, you know, if two gay guys fall in love in a nursing home, they can share a room, that rights have to be protected. You know, a lot of those environments are run by religious organizations, and a lot of them they can be terribly bigoted, unpleasant places, even for straight people to wind up in. You know, if we care about the freedoms won for us by the Stonewall generation, we should care about where they're going to spend the last years of their lives.
I hope that younger people now can begin to look forward to the future with some sense of hope that there's going to be something there for them in terms of services, in terms of community, in terms of friendships, and in terms of social needs being met.
Ageism is part of American culture. Like racism and sexism. And homophobia. Probably, well, maybe except for the Ayatollahs, we'd be the strictest people in the world. Except for that.
But it also has a poignant side for an older gay or lesbian person in that our contemporaries, that is the non-gay people we may associate with, are still from that old period of time, and they've not come along with us necessarily. They've not changed as much with the times. So we welcome the change, but not everybody else is quite so copacetic with it. So when you end up in a nursing home, for example, terrible place to be if you're a gay or lesbian person, unless you just have to be there. And most of us would do anything we could to stay away from that sort of an environment because we don't want to go back in the closet again. We've paid too much of a price to be where we're at now, and we don't want to revert. And the feeling is, in that kind of a setting, it's not gay friendly. And that's one of the things that I'm a little sad about, is that we haven't taken care of our senior gay and lesbian people to the point where there are good places for them to age when it comes time to move for some sort of a care facility or assisted living. It's just not as good.